beautiful conscious creators. I'm Kim Falcon, intuitive channel, quantum healer, and hypnotherapist. Today we're going to be talking about relationships again. So in the last video, part 1, we spoke about some of the reasons why you may not be getting what it is you need from your relationships on an emotional level. And one of those reasons we talked about is being neediness or coming from a place of need. Today, part 2, we're going to be talking about the next reason why you may not be getting what you need from your relationships. And most importantly, I'm going to be giving tips on how to shift that so that you can have a relationship that is a conscious one, a balanced one, and brings through joy, balance, and harmony. So let's get into it. So sometimes what it is we want from somebody else or need from them, they're not willing to give us, because in order to give us what it is we need from them, it would require that they have to go into an uncomfortable place within themselves that they're not willing to or ready to face yet. And that uncomfortable place could be things like guilt. It could be fear. It could be shame. It could really be any number of things. So let me give you an example of what that might look like. So let's say, for example, you have a parent that's having health issues, significant health issues, and that's leaving you feeling stressed and also maybe a little fearful too of the unknown. And you're wanting your friend to call you, to check in on you, to see how you're feeling about things, to see how your parent is doing, and they're not doing that. And so that can be hurtful, right? And you might be sitting there thinking, well, how come this friend isn't calling me? They should be calling me we're good enough friends. They should be calling me to see how I'm doing. And I really want them to, but they're not doing that. Well, it could be because they have their own fears around losing their parents. And so they don't want to talk to you about maybe your fears around losing your parent or the emotional hardship that comes with taking care of a parent that has health issues. Or taking it one step further, maybe they have a parent that's having health issues, and because of their fears around losing their parent, they're doing their best to avoid their own feelings around it. And so they're trying to avoid talking about it or thinking about it too. So in order to meet your need of you wanting them to call you, that would require them to go into a place of fear within themselves. And as you can see, that would be a really big ask. So essentially what you'd be saying is, hey, in order to meet my need, because I'm in a lot of pain over here, I'm asking you to go to a place of pain and fear within yourself too. And if we thought about it that way, I'm not so sure that's what we would want to do either. So of course, there could be many other examples as to why this may be happening. But if we hold the awareness that what we want from somebody else is asking them to do something it is that they're not ready to do, that they're not comfortable doing, that they may hold fears around doing. And that can assist us in moving from a place of need and expectation to a place of understanding and honoring what may be going on within the other person. Now, each scenario is going to be different, right? So if you have a friendship where you're always showing up for that person and they're never showing up for you, then you have to evaluate that situation differently. And perhaps it's not aligned altogether. You get what I mean? So the tip that I have for you on how to get clear on this is to take inventory. Now, in the first video, I asked you to take inventory of all the people that have shown up for you along the way and have supported you. And this time, I'm going to ask you to take inventory of this relationship. Has this person been there for you in other ways? So, for example, did they meet you at the condo that you were so excited about? You possibly buying and you wanted a second opinion and they showed up for you to do that? Were they there for you the day you got laid off from your job to encourage you and raise your spirits? Did they come into town, take a flight into town to surprise you for your 30th birthday? If the answer is yes, and they have shown up for you in different ways in other times of your life that were important, then here's what my guidance says. There are going to be times when we have to meet others with where they're at in honor of their journey too. So I had this happen in a close relationship of mine too, where I was going through a really tough time. And I was expecting that this friend, this close friend of mine, was going to call me up and see how I was doing and, call me about the specific concerns it is that I was having that was going on in my life at that time. And she was calling, but she was avoiding that specific issue that was going on in my life at that time, where it is I really wanted her support. And that was leaving me frustrated. In fact, for some time, it did drive a wedge in our friendship because I had expectations of her and our friendship that were falling short. Now, the more I cleared up within myself by doing all of the inner work, which as we know, this journey requires, the more I was able to let go of the expectations and the frustrations that I once held. And it opened me up to a whole new perspective. So when I did the exercise of taking inventory, which is what I've asked you to do, there were two main things that I learned. And the first thing is I learned that I did have other people in my life that were there to give me support at that time. Again, the universe did give me nuggets of support along the way, so I was never alone. And that's why it's important to do the exercise, because I bet that's what you're going to find too, because that's how the universe works. We're never alone. We're always supported. So when I took inventory of my friendship, I could see that in order to support me, she would have had to address some of her fears around the same concerns it is that I was having. So in other words, the issues that I was having were her issues too. So this new perspective allowed me to shift my expectations about things, to actually not even have them anymore, to actually understand and have compassion for where it is she was on her path. Most importantly, she had been there for me throughout the decades of our friendships and actually put forth a lot of energy and effort to be there at very special and pivotal points in my life. And so as the guidance says, sometimes we're going to be called to meet other people where they're at. And when we do that, we can then move back to a place of gratitude, appreciation, harmony, and joy in the relationship. So it's very different, right? From the earlier feelings of expectation and frustration, moving that to a place of appreciation. And what you'll find is those earlier emotions have been neutralized. It doesn't affect or bother you anymore. And then you can get back to having a great relationship again with that person, because at that point, you have a true appreciation for where it is they're at on their journey and how it is they've shown up for you, so that the relationship can then be enjoyed by everybody. So in our relationships, we want to engage with other people where their hearts can open and not go into defensive mode where their hearts are closed. And so dropping expectations and meeting someone with where they're at, that is what is conducive to having somebody's heart open. And taking inventory will allow you to stay in a place of gratitude and appreciation, which encourages and fosters connection where everybody's heart is open. If you're finding value in what I'm sharing in this video, it would really support me in doing more of this kind of content if you were to hit the like button, share it with others so that they can have healthy relationships too, and subscribe to my channel. So just to recap what we've learned in both videos, the first thing was to do the soul integration work. The second thing is to shift to a place of gratitude and appreciation. The third thing is to take inventory of the relationship so that you can see whether or not this relationship is aligned or not aligned. The next thing we talked about was how to dissolve expectations and neediness. And then when we do all of these things, it means that you are showing up for you first. So all of these things combined will shift your outside relationships because you've shifted your inside relationship with yourself first. And since we're always creating from the inside, the outside world will reflect that. And lastly, I would love to hear in the comments below, tell me one way it is that you have shown up for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.